Hey gang, it's Chris Angel coming at you for another episode of Marketing for the Rest of Us. Thanks for hanging out with me in advance of this evening. Sometimes the words come so fast, they all come out at once. All right, let's talk about your audience. This is really important. I have somebody right now in our Groundswell Method Intensive who's wrestling with this conversation, and I had wrestled with it for a very long time. And what I will tell you, in fact, is that my audience is still getting more and more specific. I definitely have a good sense of who my audience is, and I keep finding more nuance to who they are. So there will come a time when you're like, this is who I'm really talking to. But in the beginning, it can be overwhelming. Like, well, who am I really talking to? Now, at the very surface level of this, there's some objections or some limiting beliefs that you may have, like I had, that are preventing you from choosing. You have to choose. You have to choose. If you don't choose, people won't pay you. And I'm assuming that you want to get paid, right? That's a part of having a business. It's a part of creating a lifestyle. Money in a capitalist economy is part of what makes, part of what gives you choices in life. Okay, and funds your purpose. It funds your ability to do the work in the world that you really want to do without having to go get other jobs and things that keep you from your important work. Okay, so you have to choose. But one of the objections or limiting beliefs that can happen is that you don't want to narrow who you're speaking to because you're afraid of offending somebody. Like, if I just talk to these people, I'll offend the rest. Or if I just speak to this group of people, like if I just speak to women, I'll alienate all the men. When my message is for men and women, so I can't just pick women, right? Or maybe you're like, well, I feel like I want to pick moms, but moms can't afford what I offer, so I can't really talk to moms. So do you see? There's all a chatter in your head that starts to happen that gets in the way of you picking someone to serve. You have to pick someone to serve, and it can't be everybody, right? Even if your message feels like it's for everybody, that doesn't equate to you getting paid. So, you can be an inspirational or motivational speaker someday, but between now and that day, when you step on stage and get paid $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 to speak to that audience, you have a gap in time where you need to get paid. And if you're going to get paid, then you've got to get specific about who you're really serving. So there's a couple ways through this, right? The first thing I would say is that you are your own tribe. You, in all the different facets that you've lived, in all the different hats you've worn, roles you've played in life, you are your own tribe. And you have to kind of figure out, based on what life has taught you, in this moment, right now, what do you feel most qualified to lead people in? They're not going to pay you to speak to them. Not now. So, but they will pay you for other things, right? They will pay you for other things. So the question then becomes, what has life taught you that you feel strong and confident in leading someone else in? That is what people will pay you for. If you are somewhere where I want to go, if you know the path, if you know the steps, if you have the life experience of navigating the tough waters of life, some aspect of life, could be a career, something that you've done in your career. It could be something you've done in your marriage, your parenting, something you've done with money and how you manage it, something you've done moving to another country, right? There's all sorts of things that you have done in life that you have figured out how to navigate and produce a result, and other people would like to have that same result. You have to start there. You have to start with something you can lead people in. And it can't just be inspiration, because inspiration doesn't get me from here to there. Inspiration gets me excited to go there from here, but inspiration doesn't give me the steps to go there. So you have to start to think about, what has life taught you that you could teach others? You could lead others in. That is where money gets exchanged. So some of the places, once you think about your own life and that question, like what has life taught me that I could lead others in, then you can start to think about, okay, it's taught me this and this and this and this. And you start to look at it and you go, okay, based on all that list of things that life has taught me, which of those things do I feel most passionate about? Like, look, life taught me how to golf. I spent a lot of time in high school and college playing golf. I was decent at it in high school, not as good at it in college. But compared to an amateur golfer, I could teach an amateur golfer a thing or two and charge for lessons, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to spend my time trying to build a business around teaching people golf lessons. That's not where my heart and passion is. My heart and passion is teaching people in business people, and not just business people, but right, because there's different quadrants of personalities. I don't want to work with idiots and jerks. I don't want to work with task-oriented people. I don't want to work with analytical people. I want to work with people who are heart-centered, people who love other people. Like, we get energy from being around other people. We want to inspire people and influence people. Like, that's my tribe. So people in business who are people-oriented, heart-centered, who have important work to do. Like, it's not about the next transaction for them. For them, it's about making a difference with others. It's serving people. It's creating impact and change in the world. Transformation. They're people who, so then they're also people who are into personal development. They're always working on themselves. They're in a growth mindset, not a fixed mindset. They're accountable for their life and their results. They don't blame others. They're not a victim of circumstance. They take it upon themselves to pull themselves up by their bootstraps and figure it out. Now, they also, interestingly, recently I noticed like 90% of the people that work with me that pay me money to work with them are some kind of coach. They could be a nutritionist. They could be a transformational coach, a life coach, a business coach, a marketing coach, a money coach. I have a financial person, a financial advisor / profit coach who has worked with me. But these people have something in coaching, which is fascinating observation for me. So as I got more and more specific, it got easier for me to see not only how to lead them, but also where I would need to keep navigating to keep ahead of them so that I know how to keep leading them, right? So you're going to make this list. Let's go back. You're going to make this list of the things that life has taught you. And as you look at that list, you're going to be like, not golf. I'm not really interested in golf. I really do love business. I really do. I love working with men and women. I get that. I would say 60, 70% of the people who respond to my content are women, interestingly. But I speak to both. And it's about marketing because I feel like that's where most people are stuck. And what makes me credible to speak about marketing is that I failed through it for 15 years. For 15 years, I've wrestled with marketing. And several years ago, I turned a corner and I figured something out for myself. I was like, oh, I always felt like I was selling out in marketing, and marketing never fit me. And I wasn't willing to spam people. And I always felt like we should be able to be who we are because people buy people. So if I could be who I was in my marketing, people would be attracted to that. And that was this aha moment. And as I went down that road and shared that message with others, they're like, yes, I want that. So where in your life have other people said, yes, I want that? Where have people said that to you? Yes, I want that. And then try to figure out, like, well, why was that important to them? What kind of a person are they that would be valuable to them? We've got to start to pinpoint who these people are. Because it's in the specifics of the audience that you actually know how to create a path from here to there. From where they are to where they want to go. From where you've been to where you are or are going. You can't really lead people somewhere you haven't been. So if you're going to get paid, you have to think about where you've been. What has life taught you? Where have you been? Right? What were the steps you took to get there? And that is how we start to isolate or find the specific people we're here to serve. Okay? Now, I want to tell you, like, one of the challenges that you're going to find yourself in is it can be confusing. You sit down and you start trying to map it out and you can't connect the dots. That happened to me for a long time. You can't put the puzzle together. You're like, I've turned over all the pieces, but I don't see how the puzzle fits. And when you get to the space of the puzzle not fitting, it's very easy for you to check out, for you to say, well, I just don't know. And then you move on, or you withdraw, or you check out, or you give up. It's very important when you're sitting there looking at all the different puzzle pieces for who your people are to not give up. You sit in the unknowing. You just sit there with not knowing. You look at that page or you look at your whiteboard or you sit there with your thoughts not knowing. And you don't deflect and get up and move on and say, well, I just can't do it. That was my story. Like for most of my life, starting from probably middle school, I've shared this in a past episode, but my dad was really good at math and I wasn't. And my dad, I was asking my dad for help on a math problem. I couldn't figure it out. And he kept saying it different ways and I couldn't figure it out. I'm like, I can't do it. And then my dad got mad at me. And I was like, I threw my books across the table. I'm like, fine, I can't do it. And it's interesting, right? Because that was a moment for me. And through my life, it's interesting how many times I found myself saying, I can't do it. When things get tough, when I'm in the unknowing, my first reaction is, I don't know. I don't know. And I can't do it. I don't know and I can't do it. And I abandon the path I'm on and go find something else that feels easier. Because at least there, I know what I'm doing. Until I get far enough down that road that again, I don't know what I'm doing. And guess what happens? I go, fine, I can't do it. I don't know. And I go on to another pursuit. And my life had been riddled with this pattern. Pick something up, study it for a while, learn it for a while. I don't get it. I don't know. I move on. It's important for you, if you're not going to repeat that pattern that I repeated, for you to sit in the unknowing and look at it and feel intuitively for answers. Wait for answers to come. Ask the universe or God for answers. And then wait for the answer. Don't just be like, so, universe, God, like, who's my people? And then you don't get anything and you're like, fine. And off you go and you do something else. No, you wait. You wait and you wait and you wait. But you don't stop asking the question. It's not like you wait for 6 months without staying engaged in the conversation. You keep earnestly seeking for the answer. Knock and you shall, right? Knock and the door will be open. Seek and you shall find. You must keep seeking who your audience is. Do not give up. Because when you start to get clear, and by the way, you don't have to be crystal clear from the get-go. You just need an idea of who. You have to have some place to start for where are they stuck and where do they want to go. And once you have that, you can start to feel out how to serve them so that they pay you, right? Okay. I don't think there's anything else I want to say. I'm pretty fired up about all that. I just think that I failed forward in this for so long. Not wanting to narrow who I was speaking to. And the thing that was so frustrating about that for me was that I wasn't getting any traction. And so not only was I not getting paid because I didn't have traction, but I didn't feel like anybody was listening. I didn't feel like, I felt like I was on the wrong track. I'm like, am I just completely insane? I feel like what I've been given is a gift from God. I feel like what I've been given is something that matters, but nobody's responding. And do you know why nobody responded? In the terms of hiring me and working with me, like they might high five me on a Facebook post, but they weren't exchanging money for service. Do you know why? Because I wasn't specific enough about their problems and pains and where they wanted to go because I didn't know who they were. If you don't know who they are specifically, then you don't know what problems and possibilities they're trying to live into. And you won't know what mindsets and skill sets set them free into their possibility. So, learn from me. Draft on my mistakes. Don't take as long as it took me. I'm here to help you. Like, look, if you have worked with me in any capacity or you've watched my content and you haven't yet worked with me, I'm here to help you. You don't have to repeat the same patterns I repeated because I've been there. Again, I can lead you through the dark shadows that I've already been through. But you do have to trust the process. I can get you there, but you have to trust the process. I can get you there, but you have to be aware of the places that you sabotage yourself and you say things like, I can't do it,